To make it worse, we were told we needed to travel to the southern part of our state, about a 9-hour drive, to meet his half-sister and half-brother before the wedding. And I guess she also complained to my mom about not having enough space and mirrors to get herself together. Hey guys, welcome back to another week of me reacting to your wedding stories, the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything in between. Before we get started today, I want to say a big thank you to everyone that's listened to the podcast so far. As of yesterday, we hit 10,000 downloads, which is just mind-blowing to me. So the love and support for the podcast, Here Comes the Drama, has just been amazing, and it's been so fun creating for you. And in case you missed it, we now have podcast merch available that is pretty cute, if I do say so myself. I did a couple different polls on social media and you guys voted for your favorites, so I'm very excited that that is officially launched. Okay, now let's get into today's story. It already starts off really good. Okay, if you want an absolutely insane story, here it is. My husband and I got married 15 years ago. I've known him for over 20 years. We met in high school. Before our wedding, while we were engaged, I learned that he had 4 half-siblings, 2 from his mom and 2 from his dad. We had no intention of inviting them to the wedding because my husband hadn't seen his mom's kids in 16 years and his dad's kids in 18 years. We got engaged at 22 and married at 23. That is crazy to not see either parents' other kids in 16 and 18 years. What? Because I could see if like maybe you're really close to your mom and like the dad, left or something, or vice versa. But it's very interesting to hear that you're 22, 23 years old and you hadn't seen your siblings in that long. I'm really curious about that. Then my mother-in-law went on a social media frenzy. She found and connected with all of his half-siblings, 2 of whom absolutely hated my father-in-law, and let them all know that we were getting married, and even told them the date. While we were sending out invitations, she texted me their addresses. I was horrified. Oh my gosh. So imagine not even having a relationship with all these people, and then people are like sending you addresses. Like, here you go, here you go. Like, yes, you would assume that all siblings would be invited, but if you hadn't seen them in 16 years, there's no relationship there, so I don't blame them. To make it worse, we were told we needed to travel to the southern part of our state, about a 9-hour drive, to meet his half-sister and half-brother before the wedding, or they wouldn't want to come. You're not invited. We were also told that my husband's parents were flying to Washington State to meet his other 2 half-brothers before the wedding to avoid any awkwardness, and we were expected to join them. On top of that, we had to share a hotel room with his parents because they're super religious and didn't want to think about us having premarital relations. Okay, I am confused by this story. So they're not close enough with their parents to see their other kids. Okay, wait, it's all clicking. So I'm guessing before his parents had him, they were married before. And then it sounds like those parents either barely saw those kids, or I don't know, because it's not step siblings, they're half siblings. So it's his parents had kids with other people. So I'm just confused why there's no relationship here or what, but they still see their parents, and the parents came with us and they're trying to dictate all these like meetups, which is very interesting to me, like how that would work. And why are they trying to dictate like, okay, you need to meet this half-sister here, these half-brothers here, all before the wedding to get rid of awkwardness? Like, sorry, this is awkward. Like, why are we doing all this now because of the wedding when we should have been doing this all along if it was important to you, the parents? We hated the whole thing, but we did both trips because his mom was very emotional and manipulated him by saying it was the right thing to do. Fast forward to the wedding, we had no alcohol because my family has a history of alcoholism, but my husband's mom's kids, so his half-brother and half-sister, found the golf course bar and got super drunk before the reception. So these are people he just met and agreed to having them come to the wedding. What? So then they came, there's no alcohol, they steal a golf course bar and get super drunk before the reception. So they're already like weird because they don't have a relationship. They're disrespectful. This is a mess. Luckily, we were in a wedding day bliss and ignored it as best as we could. That is good. That's great. And I hope most of this stuff you didn't find out until afterwards. Oh, and to top it all off, we also had to kick my husband's best man out of the wedding because he was wildly unstable. okay, need more about that. We were pretty low-key and drama-free people, so all this was a lot for my very quiet husband to handle. I just wanted to make sure he was happy. My family is super close, so we tried to navigate it all, but I still have issues with my mother-in-law's manipulation 15 years later. And I definitely don't trust her tactics. Yeah, I've got a lot of questions about this. It's so interesting to me when siblings in general, like when parents push them to be a part of the wedding, right? But I get that, it's like if you grow up together, they mean a lot to you, it's family. And then, half siblings or step siblings can complicate things, of course, because you have divorce, you have new parents coming in, new siblings, right? But if you don't even have a relationship with them and haven't even met them, should you have to invite them? I'm going to say no. I know it's going to be unique to every situation, but especially if they're going to come in and be disrespectful to what you have set up for your wedding day. And I don't know how the meeting went up because they didn't share about that, but this is just wild to me that the parents then are like, we're super religious, so we want to stay in the room with you. We want to tell you how to do everything. And then all of this like backfires. I'm just glad the couple was able to be in their wedded bliss and ignore most of this. That is crazy. Okay, I'm going to read one more short story for you guys because that one was pretty short. Okay, story number 2. Bits of drama on an amazing night. And I love the start of that because I get so many comments that are like, your stories are the reason I never want to get married or have a wedding. And I want to tell you, most weddings do not have drama. And I think we stress over like the drama of like what's going to happen. If drama is going to happen, you usually have a gut feeling or you might know. And the percentage of weddings that I've been at that have drama are so small. In fact, most of these, like I've never seen or witnessed myself. And even if you are a guest at a wedding where drama happens, you will not know. So just keep that in mind. It's good to just be present on the full day and not focus on those little things. Okay. My husband and I had kids young and decided we wanted to get married for ourselves and not because we had children together. So like all impulsive 22-year-olds, we figured out the best time would be while I was on maternity leave after kid number 2 was born, which gave us 3 months to plan. The one thing that was important to me was being married under the stars. So we quickly set a date for June 21st at 9:15 p.m. I would be 2 months postpartum. Oh my gosh, I can't even imagine being 2 months postpartum planning a wedding, so props to you, girl. After a C-section and having a toddler who was not quite 2 years old. As someone that's a toddler that's not quite 2 years old, and also being postpartum, C-section, I can't even imagine. I can't. I thought it would be fine. Oh, and we also had a $3,000 budget. No problem, young and dumb was such a nice time in my life. Luckily, we had amazing people surrounding us that we could pull favors from in lieu of monetary gifts. We had 5 people on each side, including a maid of honor and best man, 3 groomsmen and 3 bridesmaids, 1 junior groomsman and 1 junior bridesmaid, plus our flower girl. My maid of honor's mom is a seamstress and made my dress, as well as my junior bridesmaid and flower girl dresses. That is amazing. I love that. For me, for my $300 plus cost of material. That is incredible. Where is this seamstress? I love that. The best man's father was my husband's pastor and officiated for us. 1 groomsman came from a very musically inclined family, so his father played flute for the ceremony. This is amazing. Another groomsman was a DJ and took care of the music afterwards, and his then girlfriend was a photographer, aka the drama, and only charged us for the film. Oh, here we go. Okay. I've talked about this before. You have to be very careful when hiring friends and family or having friends and family help you because they will look at it as a friendly task. They're not going to look at it as a job. But if you trust in people and you know they're going to do a good job and you've seen them do their work, then absolutely utilize that as much as you can, especially when you're on a strict budget and you're postpartum and you need all the help you can have. All my girls wore amazing 2-piece outfits thanks to my godmother who owed us a bridal bouquet, and we held the whole deal at my mom's, the home I grew up in, and followed the ceremony with catered hors d'oeuvres, drinks, and an amazing cake from a local bakery. To cut down on costs, I was the only one to carry flowers. The rest of the girls carried lanterns. We surrounded the deck with candles and fairy lights and had many floating candles in the pool. And I managed to only have one meltdown just before walking when I realized the groomsman was wearing my husband's tie because I had screwed up when telling the guys what color ties to get. Every other girl wore either lavender or a buttercup skirt, and I wanted the ties to match, and my husband's was a mixture of each. Besides this, all was perfect. Or so I thought. Our photographer came the same time as my girls to capture finishing touches on setting up and getting ready. However, she also decided to get ready with us. This is where the problem lies in hiring friends or acquaintances, is that there's no real contract, so you don't know what's expected, and they kind of can twist the guidelines per se. So that sounds what's happening here. And I guess she also complained to my mom about not having enough space and mirrors to get herself together. She annoyed my mom so much, my mom eventually forced her out of the space that was available. I managed to miss this interaction, so I'm not sure exactly what happened, but it could be what eventually led to the photographer and groomsman, her boyfriend, having a huge fight and then breaking up later that night. I just have to say, like, if you hire a photographer, they will never be getting ready with the girls. They'll never be getting ready there. They are there to help you. So the fact that I don't know if she offered or was asked to be a photographer, but accepted the task, I guess, and then thought, I'm just gonna get ready with the girls there. Like, no, not okay. Okay, they had a huge fight and then ended up breaking up later that night. So we have no photos from the wedding because none of us heard from her again. So she didn't care in the beginning. She didn't care that it was a task given to her. I don't know if they were going to pay her at all, if she was just going to do it for free. Maybe she was already bitter. Maybe the boyfriend volunteered her and there was no communication. But either way, I can't imagine going somewhere and then being like, screw you, I'm going to leave. Like, after committing to helping someone with their wedding day. Oh, and the last groomsman not yet mentioned decided to pull my husband aside minutes after the ceremony to ask if he was sure I was the right one. No, saying it wasn't too late to not sign the marriage certificate. We will be celebrating 23 years of marriage this year. Happy anniversary. So I think he didn't make any mistakes. We have had an interesting life and raised two amazing and thriving adults together. We may have been young and not have any photos of our day, but our marriage has been sweet and tender and full of love. Sometimes the drama manages to not seem so grand as life moves on, and the best parts of your day are all the memories that you carry with you. Okay, I want to say I love her attitude about the whole thing and her perspective, especially as 23 years later, she can look back and say, like, it was not a big deal. So I hope this helps all you out there too that are like, oh my gosh, drama, I don't ever want a wedding because of it. Look at this perspective. She's still married happily 23 years later. They raised two kids together. And yeah, there was crazy, weird stuff that happened, but they were like, that was not the most important thing, and it never will be. So props to her. I love that story. There's gonna be drama. There's a lot of lessons to learn in it, but obviously sometimes hindsight's 2020, and sometimes we don't learn our lessons till we go through it ourselves. So I think that was a beautifully told story. I love that everyone came together to help make their day. That's amazing. All right, guys, that's all I have for you guys this week. Thanks for listening and tuning in. If you've not listened to the most recent podcast episode, please check it out at the link below. Again, we hit 10,000 downloads, which I'm so grateful for. Thank you for all the support on that. It's just been so exciting to create for you, and I got more coming soon. So thanks so much, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.